Hey everybody, hope you're having a very good day. I'm Perry, gladly sharing insights and practical advice to help you create great content to advance your business, your marketing, or whatever you want to do with your content. Now in this video, I want to talk about publishing videos on YouTube. Did you know that it is ridiculously easy to publish videos on YouTube, even in 4K? Part of the reason is that YouTube is free. It's free to publish and there are no storage limits, so you don't have to really manage anything. The other thing about publishing videos on YouTube is that they do all the work for you to prepare your videos for presentation to all your viewers. For example, if you publish in HD or 4K, they'll create lower resolutions of all your videos, or each time you publish a video, to make sure that you can serve anything from a large screen on a TV all the way down to a window on a mobile device. So YouTube does everything for you and you don't have to pay for it, which is great. You can't really ask for anything more than that. So with all this in mind, should you really publish in 4K even though you don't have to pay for it or do any extra work? Well, to me, it depends. It depends on the content that you're presenting. For talking head content, basically anything where you've got a camera in front of you and you're just talking, like what you're seeing right now, I would say not really. Certainly not. However, if you're doing something like travel blogging, food, scenery, something with a lot of visual detail, that's something where you're more likely you can want to consider publishing in 4K because your viewers may be interested enough to want to put it on their TV or at least some sort of big screen or a bigger screen on their monitor. The problem with publishing in 4K when you do it needlessly is that it can really be overkill, at least in my opinion. You're giving people all that extra detail that they really don't need. And something also important to consider are environmental factors. When you're publishing in 4K versus a lower resolution video like HD or even standard definition, you're potentially causing data centers to consume more data, and that could have impact on carbon emissions and the environment in general. So that's something that we should probably be more cognizant of going forward. You really should be asking yourself whether you need your videos in 4K quality, because really 1080p or HD should really be fine in the majority of cases. I see so many great videos on YouTube in HD, even highly detailed cooking videos where there's a lot of work being done and a lot of production value being put into making the videos a great product. And there's a lot of reason why you do in HD, it just makes sense. Something else to consider is the fact that most of us are viewing on mobile, or at best maybe on an iPad or within a window on a desktop monitor. So the benefits of 4K resolution right there just go away. There may be a few cases where you appreciate the 4K quality, like if you're watching on your TV, but I've seen a lot of content, great content in HD that looks great even on a 4K TV. So with all this in mind, you really should be publishing 4K, at least the way I see it, if the visual detail is going to be beneficial to the viewer. Some examples of this type of content would be environmental scenery, high resolution graphics content, 3D graphics, 3D content created with very fine visual detail, and you want to make sure you show everything. There's nothing wrong with capturing content in 4K on your camera, and it's usually a great idea, especially if you have a higher quality camera. You can do all your work afterward in post-production in a 4K workflow, and then when you do the final step of rendering and then publishing out your video, you do that in 1080p. Alternatively, you can work in a 1080p workflow. This is likely to be better if you're bringing in both 4K and non-4K content. And a great example of this is if you're making a tutorial video where you need to do screen captures and record what's going on while you're working with a piece of software or an app on the screen, and you want to record it all and present it. That type of content is not going to be in 4K. It's going to be somewhat of a 1080p-ish, or somewhere around that resolution. It's not going to be 4K. And by doing all in 1080p, you can keep things consistent, not have to blow up images too much. So it just makes sense to work in 1080p in that context. So that's basically it for this video. Just some insight, some content, and a little bit of opinion. I really think you should really be publishing 4K if you really need to. Otherwise, I think HD is going to be more than plenty for a YouTube production or whatever type of video publishing you're planning to do. Please feel free to comment below if you have any questions. I'll be glad to assist or answer any inquiries you might have. And feel free to subscribe if you want to learn more about the stuff I present here on this channel. So until then, I'm Perry, helping you create great content to advance your business, your marketing, or whatever you want to do with your content. See ya.